Okay, you are the first woman fair manager. Okay, so adult life is not so boring. I wanted to compete with male to prove that I'm not worse to get the position.
The hugest.
Oh my God, what is going on?
Pressure, pain.
We are millennials, you know? We love it.
I hear your pain.
The best PR is when no one is writing about you.
Meet Alena Kozub. She is a very extremely professional brand manager. She was behind such brands as Flo, Wargaming, and now she is building a brand of Ukrainian startup Promova. Let's learn from her how she navigated challenges of immigration and building career in it. I'm Hanna, and you are watching the first season of Talks with Hanna, a space where we meet role models, women who build their careers, startups, and enterprises in tech. We talk about business, AI impact, and leadership. Stay tuned, comment, share, like, and subscribe for our YouTube. That's how you help us to be more visible. Alena, I'm really grateful for you being here and now. Thank you for taking this ride from sunny Bratislava to this a little bit less sunny Warsaw today to make this podcast happen. I really appreciate.
Thank you so much for having me. That's always my pleasure to accept your invitations and to be here, regardless the weather in Warsaw.
Or regardless their geography where we're meeting. Yes, we've just been discussing that. We had a lot of points. But I would like to start our conversation today with some confession. You are the personality for me, or the female, that's really possess this amazing example of what soft power leadership is. Besides, that's during the last 10 years, I guess, you made a really great career. You worked for multiple different types of companies, big brands, corporate, big tech, now startup, on one side. On the other side, you're for sure this person whom we evaluate and understand as a really empathic leader. For sure, I know this because last time we had this, I had this opportunity to see how you was leading the course that we've been making with women in tech, and the way you was leading the process, thoughtful, very warm, very empathic. And so far still, I guess your name hasn't received as much attention as, for instance, I would like it to have. So I would like to take this opportunity here and now, on one side, for me to have an opportunity to talk and to understand deeper what was the processes behind and how you nailed it all. And for you, I assume it could be a stage where more people will have this opportunity to meet with you.
Thank you, Anya. That's always the pleasure to be welcomed by you in this warm way.
You made this great career in tech. 10 years already.
10 plus.
10 plus. We're going to dig deeper what was your experience. But the first question I would like to ask you, working for these big companies and big brands, how many really female or women you've met in C-level or had opportunity to work with?
It really depends on the industry and on the time period we are talking about, because I started my career, to be honest, 15 years ago, and I started with the car dealer back in Belarus. And 15 years ago, and maybe still at some point, of course, this is more man-led industry. And we used to have, of course, the female leaders in marketing mostly, but also now I can see the powerful leaders in this industry among women who are leading the departments of sales, which is extremely important, of course, the key industry for this direction. So When I moved, for example, to the gaming, you might be familiar that it wasn't the place for women, and maybe it is still not the one where female leaders are cultivated and supported so much, because back at like 7 years ago, it still was quite a toxic place for everyone. And we can see a lot of gaming that across the gaming industry in the world, there were a lot of toxic behavior, a lot of manipulations, and these positions when women could not get the promotion and were in purpose like stayed on their level, and even worse, they were manipulated, judged, and also very bad treated by the male leaders. There are a lot of examples in media too. So it really depends, but now I see that the situation differs. And for example, with the of course, female health industry, education, they used to be, and they are more open for women to make career. I can't say that it doesn't mean that women are not presented in gaming industry. I see a lot of examples already, and I see the gaming communities created, like women in game. On Cyprus, I saw. So it is present, but we still need to manifest our rights and to be out loud about female leaders in different industries.
I would like then to narrow my question. If there is, as far as I understood you, during your career development process, there wasn't so many women in the leadership positions within the industries you've been working. From time to time, for sure, there are more people, more females are becoming leaders or having the C-level positions. But my question for you, if there were no women, from whom you learned?
Okay, that's the good one. That's the truth. Over like my maybe first years in my career, there were mostly men who inspired me.
So men were your role models at the beginning because of lack of females?
Maybe yes. And at some point, I can say that I wanted to compete with male to prove that I'm not worse to get the position. That was the case. But to be honest, I used to have my first manager. She was that was she.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Yeah,
so.
And she was super decisive, and she had a goal, and she was a good example of of a woman who made a career in car industry.
I will make myself clear while I decided to start with this question, because I recognize your leadership style as empathic one. For those of us who are not so aware about your career path, because I was following you for a while, so I know, could you please share your story? So what are those companies we are talking right now? What are the brands you've been working for? And maybe you can share some more of that.
Yeah, sure. The only thing is not to make it a kind of a CV style, right?
We are not here for that.
Yeah, that's true. So I started my career, my work from the car industry in Belarus, from the brand Volkswagen.
And huge one.
Yeah, the huge one. But
especially at the moment.
Yes, that's true. And that was the most popular car brand in Belarus 10 years ago. And I started from the small dealer. A dealer means the car seller. And then I spent 5 years in the industry, and I grew till the PR manager of the brand Volkswagen itself. So I promoted the Volkswagen brand in Belarus. Back in the days, that was completely man-led industry, and there were no female PR manager in this sphere, namely at Volkswagen. So there were a very interesting moment when I remember myself. I wanted so much to prove that I, as a woman, I'm also deserve to be the PR manager. It was kind of my personal commitment that I'm not worse than the PR manager's man because of the industry. And I was even proud when I got this position, and I was recognized among the several men, and they like said, "Okay, you are the first woman fair manager there."
You had this title, yes,
Yeah,
among
yeah.
the community.
Yeah, and one of the biggest projects I'm really proud of working at Volkswagen, and I'm pretty much sure that you may remember about this one. It was the first Minsk Polo Marathon. When Volkswagen began to introduce this culture of big sports events in Belarus, in Minsk, and they not just made the sponsorship of this event, but actually we made this event happen together with Belarusian Federation of Sports. But this is on us, namely on myself, that we created the branding, the communication around it, all social media, website, invited the athletes from different countries to visit this first Minsk half marathon. That was actually like 10 years ago already. And yeah.
Woof.
Then I moved to gaming industry, and namely to another huge brand in Belarus, which was Wargaming. And in 2016, it was the flourishing time for the company.
The hugest.
Yes, and they literally took the best experts from the market, from different industries. I do remember how one by one the best people from different agencies, other like non-IT companies were just, "Oh, I'm moving to Wargaming. I don't want to work with you, for example, as a freelancer. I'm moving to Wargaming. I got the position at Wargaming," and I was like, "Oh my God, what is going on?" And then I got this position at Wargaming too.
Mm-hmm.
And that was another mind-blowing change, because the car industry, it's kind of a real sector, and then gaming, it's completely another one. It's the culture, the people, the way how you are treated, how you are supposed to communicate, the speed of updates. Like the game can be updated once per week, I don't know, once per 2 weeks, when Volkswagen is making the updates of the car, it's usually like one time per year maybe, and that's a huge event. So the time, the pressure, everything differs. So for me, the first 6 months at Wargaming was kind of survival mode. Yeah, again, in kind of man industry again, right? Because gaming at that time especially. Then again, new shift, and that was the shift to the health tech, to the Flo company in 2019. Flo has been already quite big, but not so big as it is now. And they had only one office in Minsk, and we had quite a small team that worked in brand and communications. And that was the moment when I started to work with the global market, with the US, United States. So basically work with different mindsets, and even more with different product mentally. Why? Because this is completely another industry where different things matter. And namely, for example, that was the place when I realized that not every company really wants to make a PR. And sometimes the best PR is when no one is writing about you.
Well,
yeah,
is it in some kind of risk situations? Or like...
Yeah, because of this is female health is very risky industry, because you deal with personal data, and and you need to, and the health state, and in the US it's highly regulated, and there are a lot of organizations who are watching you, and you must recognize that you do not give the medical services, because otherwise it would require from you a lot of procedures. Right, so sometimes you need to double check everything, to be very aligned with the legal team in order to keep
I know in
this.
the company there is a huge legal department, so it's like should be interesting to work there actually, I guess. So and after FemTech you are now moving to startups.
Yes, and that's the new challenge, but this is something that I really wanted. Now I understand that it was so needed, because this position I'm currently working on, I'm working for the language learning platform, which is called Promova, and we are now on the stage which is called kind of scale up, which means that we are growing very fast, but we keep this mindset of being still the startup. So we are working on the processes, but again, the process serves to help you, but not to to make the walls for you, right? For being able to start from scratch and to build the brand how it is now, to build the team, to be not the person who is following the processes, but who is building processes. That was I was lucky, because I really didn't understand that I needed at this kind of ownership on this stage of my career. So the process we are going now, and I'm personally going through now, is painful, because when you are operating in completely unpredictable situation. But this is something that makes me wake up in the morning and to think about, to be happy about the future.
If someone will listen to you and the main target keywords that are recognized is pressure, pain.
We are millennials, we love
and still you are possessing or providing this kind of very positive energy coming out of you, and how you're sharing all your experiences. That's amazing for sure. It's one of the creatures of being this soft power leadership. But also what I wanted to also to highlight for our audience, that's while making this career, and especially as you've said, that's on your last stage, being ahead of brand and global communications for startup. Actually, you made this career jump, the third one in this whole picture, while being in immigration.
That was really the tough time for me and for my family, I think.
So it's something 2022, 2023, right? We are talking, so very tough context in general.
Of course. We moved from Belarus in 2022, and it was kind of quick decision to be made. And as maybe the destiny played with us a little bit, and we landed in Slovakia, in a small town. And that was the moment when I thought, why? The first one. And I was working for my previous company, and I understood that kind of, and I was working part-time because I just came from maternity leave. And I found myself in the middle of nowhere, in my imagination, right? In the middle of nowhere, without connections. Some connections were lost after a year of maternity leave. It sounds not so much, but if we consider how the world is moving fast, so it meant a lot.
It's a time.
And I understood that a lot of connections, I don't know even where people are now, because a lot of Belarusians moved away from Belarus during these 2 years, from 2020 to 2022. And I was in the middle of nowhere, and I just realized that I need some fresh beginning. And I I did what I could for the current company. So it's time for me to go further. And I started just to refresh my connections and to write everyone who I supposed who could help me to find the good job. Because at that time, I believe that there were a huge wave of immigration, and a lot of people started to look for the job in Europe. And my resumes didn't land at all. Like I sent by 100 resumes, and I had 2 or 3 replies, and they were all negative. So I understood that it may be not the way how I want to proceed, and I need something else. And I started just to ask the people and say, hey, I'm looking for the job. I'm open to some opportunities. Maybe you know someone who is looking for the job, who opened the position in brand and communications. And what worked, actually, one of my connections from my previous job, she connected me with the company I'm working now with Promova. They were looking for the PR director, and that was the super fresh beginning with a lot of possibilities when you can actually do a lot from scratch, which is scary. But again, I understood that this is what I needed. I was super tired of the procedures, of multiple agreements, when before landing the idea, you need to go via several approvals. And chances are that some of the approvals won't happen and your idea just go to waste.
Going back for your career and the decisions you were making, we've talked a lot and already highlighted the picture that you was working for this very different industries, literally a new career jump, a new industry. First Car manufacturing, then gaming, then FemTech, now learning EdTech right now, right? Besides, it's always a changing of the type of company you're working for. I assume first was like corporate, then big tech with a lot of rules, but still and challenges, and now startup that you're saying is more like vivid place. Could you please share what is your principles for building your career?
Let me jump a little bit later in my life. And when I first was introduced to the profession of PR, and that was actually when I was 16 years. I went to the summer school after my 10th grade. And the summer school was built on the UNESCO model. It means that you are divided into groups. So the children, teens, were divided into groups, and each group was a specific country. And each country had their president, prime minister, etc. And we played a kind of roles when you have the assemblies, some different meetings, we discuss the future of Europe. So it was kind of modeling of the future. And as part of this summer school, they introduced us to new professions. And one of them actually was PR. And it was like, I do remember the thought. I was like, oh, okay, so adult life is not so boring, and working could be fun, because the lady who came, who were working as PR manager, she was talking about how she organized some press conferences, some exhibition booths at exhibitions, and I was like, oh, okay, that's good. I can organize, I can communicate with people, super fun, and maybe that's what I want to do in my life. And that's super maybe boring, or maybe I'm just lucky, but like from my 16 years old, I'm just following, the same career. And that's exactly that you mentioned, that this profession, the first thing that keeps me is you never get really bored, because you can change industry. You have a lot of challenges. You have a lot of different channels within where you can operate. For example, today you are dealing with the press announcement. Tomorrow you make the press tour. The day after tomorrow, you may be exploring social media too, etc., etc. So this one is of course challenging, and you need to keep up with the updates, what is going on. But this is where where I find my inspiration, because it's not boring. It's really interesting. It's really a lot of things to learn about. The world is changing. The new challenges like AI completely changed the game right now. A lot of media closed. Unfortunately, the competition is growing among PR managers. AI is growing. People's already almost stopped searching information in Google. They're just going through AI. That's
me.
You see, and this is something that you need to know. It's not like I don't know, like my mom who worked in a hospital for a lot of years, but she potentially always had some interesting cases. But this is always changing and challenging, and the place where you can learn. This is very important for me. And regarding the challenges and this pressure that you mentioned, I'm not sure that I would want to come through such pressure, like being already in my 30s, right? But because...
You mean what you had before?
Yes,
yeah?
Yes.
You wouldn't go there again.
Yes, because at that time, maybe as a millennial, that's adult life is supposed to be kind of pressure. I consider it this as a challenge that makes me stronger. But now I would consider rather not the challenges when I feel bad or when I feel that I am not okay. I would consider the challenge where I can learn and to welcome these challenges rather than being, to experience fear that, oh my God, yet another project, that will be the disaster, etc., and the pressure from management, for example. So I would choose more gentle path where I can carefully build the product, the brand, the best way I can.
And by the way, like what I have to ask you as well, could you please name some projects during your period of making your career, so working for different companies, that you're proud or you would like to give a shout out? You talk some of them, but maybe there are more, because I assume there is a huge wave of projects you've been involved and you probably is proud. Because what I see from my perspective, whenever you are entering a company, wherever you're entering like an industry, this particular brand is becoming more visible. And in some kind, these companies are blossoming. So they're becoming like, rich in what they are doing. So for sure, I know that's it's not only because PR, marketing and communication, but could you please share something you're proud of?
Mm-hmm. Sure. And of course, that's usually the huge work, not as you mentioned, that it's not only about PR marketing. Sometimes the industry is growing and just PR is supporting what is going on. But regarding the projects I'm really proud of, I still want to mention once again the Minsk half marathon, which was renamed Minsk Polo Marathon. Why? Because that was the project every PR manager, communication expert would want to be part of, because it was purely the case you would read in the books. Why? Because at that time, 10 years ago, there were no culture of running in Belarus. They used to have some competitions and half marathons, but that was mostly for more or less professional runners. That wasn't like you and me who were never run or just started to run. That was mostly professional event and for their families. And my manager at that time, the CEO of Volkswagen, he saw in Europe that half marathons, these are the fasts, the events for the whole family, and how many people are coming just to support the athletes who are running, and how many athletes are usually taking part in such events. And he came with the idea that we should make the same for Belarus. And I was lucky that he said, like, you're a PR manager, you will be working on this case. And the challenge was that before you want to attract people to do the half marathon, you just need first to make people love running and to run. And this, this is the change of behavior you needed to make first before you can collect this audience for your brand. So
before you can propose them a product to use.
Yes, so. Exactly. And this behavior, it doesn't build overnight. So you need some time. And I was in charge. I was like the project manager for this big initiative. Mm-hmm. And we had it's also the teamwork. It's usually the teamwork. We had the PR agency. We had the agency who were responsible for branding. We collaborated with the Federation of Sports in Belarus because they were responsible for organizing the athletes and like all this sports part. We also had the the people who were responsible for the website because you needed to collect to get the
attendees,
attendees,
registrations, right. All this stuff.
But I was like the project manager for all this stuff, and I also was the part of the team who were supposed to promote running. The PR agency came with the idea that we should make the dream team from the influencers, media personas, businessmen who were preparing over like 4 months, I guess, for the half marathon. And they were supposed to be in the first row with professional athletes to open this half marathon. And I was among these people who were also preparing to the half marathon. And I ran it too.
Wow.
That was the only one half marathon in my life.
But this is how you started to run as well?
Yeah, this but then I quit. Yeah, I also ran for a year or so because it was fun, and I've never probably spent so much time on the fresh air before. But yeah, and as a result of all these activities, we collected over 11,000 of participants of the first Minsk Polo Marathon. Wow. That was a huge event. We had extremely rich coverage.
Huge event for something that wasn't exist before.
Right. Yeah.
And this skill or this power to execute from idea to something really happening with a mass of people for sure should be highlighted.
Yeah. So I was kind of extremely lucky that I had this possibility to collect all the dots and to manage this project. Yeah, that was the one, but that was 10 years ago.
But still.
Yeah, and since then there were a lot of interesting things. For example, one of the most maybe painful projects that taught me a lot. That was when we was Wargaming. We decided to make a reality show with bloggers on a ship.
Wow! And what was the year you was doing this?
2017, I guess.
That wasn't so popular at the moment, like this all influence marketing, I guess. It was just the beginning.
Yeah, that was the time when the YouTube influencers flourished. There were almost no Instagram influencers, quite just the beginning. But YouTube, they were the first power, let's say. And to organize, again, I was the executor of the idea, but that was when your manager comes with the idea, we need to make a reality show on a ship, and on you.
And you start to giggle nervously, right?
which ship, what kind of influencers, how we can bring them to the point where the ship is, how not to lose the influencers on their way. And we did. And we lost some of them because of visa issues. They just slept too much and lost flights, missed their flights.
Wow.
And the thing is,
this part of working with people, so many unexpected things.
The influencers of 16 years old, kind of. So that was super challenging because of the personalities with whom you're working and the obstacles of this specific project. But to move to more, let's say,
recent
projects. At Promova, I'm super proud of the idea that we introduced the mode, the special mode in the application to help people with dyslexia to learn languages. And generally, the application pays a lot of attention on neurodiverse people. And it's turned out that although around 20% of generally population are considered to have some level of neurodiversity, or let's say neurodivergence, there were no way to support them when they are learning languages. And Promova became the first one to highlight this problem and to make something. It is hard because, for example, as for dyslexia, the people with dyslexia, they to give more background, that they have struggles with learning, namely with reading and seeing the letters, because sometimes some of them could not, for example, perceive the red color. For others, they just swipe the letters. So this is why there is no unique way to help everyone, because for everyone the dyslexia is different, but to help at least to find some ways, it is needed, because we saw a lot of positive feedback. And also Promova won the Fast Company Innovative Companies Award, namely for this direction, for this feature. And I'm proud that I came with this idea, and it was something that was needed to people.
Super. Mike, congratulations with this.
Thank you very much.
And, I do understand why you're proud of this. And thank you for sharing and giving, I would say, shout outs for what public relations is for, not just for marketing, but for business. Me, as a person who also was dealing a lot with public relations as an expert, I do know how this instrument for making business is underestimated, because not always we can give real results in 2 months, right? If we are saying about behavior mood changing, or how to measure all the things. And for that reason, I see that for business to understand what PR is for, or what real advantages it could bring for the product or for the business, to shout out, to say it loudly, or to talk about this, it's already a part of the journey of a PR manager or in general person who are working for this. So thank you for sharing this. But getting back for your experience, you've shared on your career path and companies you worked in. For sure, you was evolving as an expert, but also you was evolving like a leader of your career, but also leader of a team that is bringing results for the business. Could you please share, were there any changes within your leadership style? Maybe milestones, or wherever it's more comfortable for you to bring it here, maybe through idea of challenges. But I want really to understand, how did you evolve to being this empathic leader that I assume you are, not having so many role models around you?
This is super interesting question, because I can't say that I'm super expert, right? And I'm pretty
But
sure.
you're a practitioner, a good practitioner for sure. I know how much you invest time in making your teams, in educating your teams, and still knowing that this period of time, these companies and these brands, these businesses are really evolving. So it gives me a clear vision. You are an expert.
I propose to put it this way, that we should distinguish two terms, being a manager and being a leader. And these two terms, they, of course, you can't, like, they are interconnected, and different roles, you need to mix different roles. But still, to make it clear, we could distinguish it. So to be when I'm working on such projects as a half marathon, a reality show, some huge announcement, when I need to connect a lot of dots and to work with different people to make the things get done, I'm mostly working as a manager. And it's like a project manager. So your role is to make sure that everyone is aligned, that everyone understands where we are going and what we need to deliver. You need to deliver it in the best quality, on time, and to bring the best outcomes from this project for the business. And then report, right? When you're a leader, that job never stops. And I had a very interesting conversation with my husband when I was reading yet another article about leadership. And he was like, Alena, do you really believe that you can learn how to be a leader? Me personally, I think that the good leaders, they're just as they are. You can't learn how to be a leader. And we started to argue here because the type of leader my husband was talking about, these are they are really born as leaders. They are very charismatic people who are mostly attracting and uniting people because of their charisma, character, and the vision. But these kind of leaders, they are 5%, like they're super small. And what to do to other people who want also to lead, but they are not as charismatic, right? So the leadership can be learned. And there are different ways to learn it. And the first of all, to distinguish these two terms. So I'm reading now one super interesting book about coaching by John Whitmer. This is like the father of coaching. And he says that the leaders, modern leaders, are built on 5 pillars. The first one is values, principles, then authenticity, flexibility, and vision. And all this is the process, because this is the process that you should go through to better understand what kind of values you are, what are your principles, because it's like, I don't know, when you want to become a parent, you read a lot of books, but when you actually become a parent, the life shows you who you are, right? And how you behave. The same with the leadership. You can think about a lot of principles and values, but you need time to understand and to measure, is it your really works for you? And how would you manifest this value, right? What is right for you? And the vision, for example, right? This is something that guides you when the team is distracted, when the team doesn't understand where to go. You have the clear vision no matter what is happening. Of course, you can adjust it, but you as a leader, you must have, how you yes,
At some
because
point of...
otherwise it will be you will be just not just but the manager who is executing someone's decisions mostly. But when you are the leader, you have this inner compass and you guide others. This is very important because you might, I don't know, if someone from another team is coming for me, is asking, and what are you doing? What are you thinking about this way? And how to do in this situation? The first thing could be to think, oh, this is not my teammate. Why should I don't know, spend time on explaining them? But the leader will inspire and will explain again and again to everyone who is approaching to them. And the leader would want to share their vision. And this is something very interesting that I'm going through right now. And this is something that I'm going through right now from being the executive and manager who is connecting the dots to being a leader with all these 5 pillars. And this is the path.
Oh, interesting. So according to you, we just caught you on this moment of transition from being an expert, a huge expert, and a manager to the leader.
This is how I feel it right now.
Can you already see what kind of leadership style you are? Or how will you depict it? Like, what is your leadership style, if I may ask? Or you're going to, if...
Yeah, I really like your explanation as empathetic leader. But also what I feel and how I feel in daily interactions with the team, that the leadership style really differs from the people who I'm working with, because it also depends on the level of seniority of people you're working with. For example, for people who are in the middle grade, you might be more, and this is how I behave, I'm more directive, like do this and do this, don't do this, I did it. Like for more senior people, it doesn't work, and it shouldn't, because senior people, they already bring you the expertise. So you can guide them and support, but not to say, in super extreme cases, you should say, do this, don't do this, because they have their own expertise and they want to show it and to get more, and they want this ownership. So it depends. But really what I stand for, that's for more support and for more empathy to people. So I'm not like blame too much.
But I really... I share totally what you're saying. So again, thank you for sharing so openly. But what I really like what you're highlighting is that leadership starts from understanding oneself. To be a leader, I need to understand myself. Either that is principles or values, or how do I behave, etc., etc. And for me, you're an example of a person who is digging towards yourself, first of all, and then towards all the others. Yes, the next step is to start to understand the others, but starting from oneself.
Yeah. That's true. That's because, again, when you're going through so many transformations, and when you're working in a such flexible area and in the area which is constantly evolving, you need to have this ground, because otherwise when you see that the way you worked like 2 years ago doesn't work right now, or you have another situation, you need to have this ground, which are your values, your principles, your what are you standing for. Otherwise you just will be like going with the flow, which is not like really the healthy approach. Okay, let's put it this way.
Absolutely, absolutely. Going towards the current experience you are into now, your current project, that is Promova startup. Could you please share a little bit wider what is the product and what is the business is, So, because I know like not all the audience are aware of it.
So we are working in EdTech, and Promova, this is the language learning platform. And we are competing in a hugely saturated market. You all know the competitors, and it's really tough to find.
You're not going to name them, yes? No shout-outs for them.
You all know this green all.
What is this?
Yeah. So it is super competitive. There are a lot of different applications. But which is the most important, that there are already pretty, not pretty, but famous applications that takes
a huge part of the market, right?
The market is hugely saturated. There are a lot of competitors who have the known brand, and it is quite hard to become one of them.
Wow. So this is the challenge you are dealing with.
Absolutely.
But again, successfully. Because like I see that Promova is getting a lot of awards for being recognized as one of these here and there at Tech #1, etc., etc. What is your role as a head of brand and global communications, and how did you manage to make this pivot for awareness and visibility of this brand in this hugely competitive market? So maybe you can share milestones you had or you have or you're willing to achieve. So more of this side.
The main way how applications now acquire the audience is through performance marketing. And when we go to performance marketing, which is the ads in Instagram, Facebook, etc., and they are working with instant desire of person. So their goal is to catch you at the moment when you are scrolling, doom scrolling, and to offer you something that you would react immediately, ideally leave your contact, and then they will convert you. Or in the best way, you catched for this, you saw the ads for the third time, you were catched, and you buy the subscription. But this is something which is working with immediate reactions, and it is not, it doesn't build the brand. And when I say about the brand, I mean that user recognize you as your logo, your icon, your colors, and they know what kind of product you are. And the best way the users understand what's behind you. So what you are standing for. For example, like to give you some super simple examples about Nike, like just do it, a sportsman.
Yeah, and we saw, the moment you are saying this, we know this
empowering. Adidas, now it's Sambas, fashion, something like more catchy and more like fast fashion. And now when you have the green owl, which is when you, I would say, Anya, what kind of language learning app do you know?
Definitely Promova.
Thank you very much. We are building a good brand. So the brand, it's always the long game. Because you need to make these associations, to build this neuro connection, the connections in your head when the users see your logo and they understand that you stand for language learning, that you are empathetic, you are safe space for mistakes, you support dyslexic community, you have this and that, and you really teach languages and teach how to speak. And for this, you need time and you need consistency and you need the investments, because the results, again, won't come overnight. And this is hard because the business today requires the like money now, and which is even like more why a lot of like all of brands are going to performance, because you see the return on investments immediately. Like you put $1 and you see that you got $1.01 content like from this specific ads. If you go to brand marketing, out of home, like billboards, radio, the results are not always so visible. So you need to invest enough to see the results. And this is the biggest challenge a lot of companies face. And even the articles where the experts of the market, they are explaining how to marry or combine both performance marketing and brand marketing approach. And these are not different parts of the game. They must work together, because also it might create some tension between performance marketing, who just see all their results in analytics, and brand marketing, who is investing, and then after some time of regular investment, you would see the results. And this is the challenge, and not only for us, but for a lot of companies who want to build the brand, but who are kind of dependent on performance marketing.
Thank you for sharing. Yeah. So like what we can learn from this is brand helps on in performance marketing for sure.
Of course.
So it goes along. Talking about Promova as a business and also as a brand, like for any big story, there should be always like turning points that's helped the thing to be the huge as it is right now. For Promova, could you name some decisions maybe within your responsibility area that were made during the last years that's helped Promova to stand out?
And the first decision that has been made, that's exactly to the decision to build the brand. And
so before you, there was no brand.
Yes. So the belief of the C-level is crucial. If you come to the company as the brand manager, but you do not have power and authority to change and challenge things, you just will put your efforts into waste, because performance marketing will always be the first in this case. So this should be the decision of C-level to invest in brand and be ready to build it. That's the first thing. Second thing, again, we worked quite a lot of time with communications, with internal processes, with the brand platform. We built the ground for brand marketing, because without the strategy, without clear understanding who you are, you won't go anywhere. And it doesn't mean that we worked in silence, but we used all the methods that are available mostly for free, when you do not need to put money in ads, like social media, PR, building personal brands. It's also part of course, building the big brand and going viral. That's super strategy. It's super tough, but it's also the strategy, of course. So this is where we started. And of course, when you can't build a good brand when the product is not good. You can invent a lot of stories.
I hear your pain.
Yes. And you can, as a brand or communications, you can build a lot of stories. But if the product doesn't follow, or it doesn't lead this game, right? These
values that are said to be there,
which is super important. That Promova is a good project, and we really teach languages, and we teach people how to speak, not to play games.
So there was a belief and the trust of C-level to make a brand. Second, there is a good project. There is a good product that is Promova, and that's all helps. That's all are these milestones there.
The baseline and the solid ground is the belief and the inner belief of C-level and the CEO that they are ready to build the brand. Then the good product. And then they need this leadership. So they need a person who has the understanding or who has a vision how this is gonna happen. And it's the process. And this is where we are going to the topic of leadership when you need the vision, because this is something that will maintain you when you are working with other people, when you are working with peers who are who do not know what brand is, who do not believe it, who didn't used to work with brand and just consider that it's a kind of a waste of time and money. You need to believe yourself that it is not, right? This is something that would ground you. And then to guide others and to explain and to give materials, to share the examples. So this is where your leadership comes. You can be the good manager and to make the brand awareness campaign, for example, but to be able to work with all these inner prejudices, thoughts, to explain to people, to change the mindset. This is where the leader comes, and this is their role.
And to be consistent.
Exactly. Yeah. Thank you so much for this, because the brand building, it's also about consistency, and the leadership, it's also about it, because we talked about time that's needed to build these connections in the head of users. And when you, for example, today your logo is in red colors, tomorrow you decide to make a rebranding, the day after tomorrow you are going somewhere else, no one will remember you, because you can imagine how fast we are moving. So the consistency, when you need to repeat again and again and again your colors, your logo, your motto, then maybe after 5 interactions of user, you might see some effect, right? And the same with leadership, when you must have this ground and to lead and to repeat again and again the same thing in different ways, in different situations, but to follow the same idea. And again, to other people, it will give the feeling of that everything is fine. She knows what she does, right? That she has this calmness inside, this stability. She is persuaded, she's sure in her opinion. Maybe it works. Okay, let's follow her or him, right? So this is also about consistency in leadership, because as parents, like sometimes, because you need to be consistent. It's difficult when you also are not stable.
What for scale-up startup you see is a working channel to bring awareness or whatever stage of brand development you are in now?
Well, that sounds not like rocket science, because we're working with almost all available channels, because I'm focused mostly on the awareness part. So on top of the funnel, we know that there are 3 stages of the funnel: awareness, consideration, and conversion. So I'm working on the top of the funnel, and the funnels that provide the most reach are ours. So YouTube, social media, Meta, TikTok. And if, for example, Instagram now is more about sales, TikTok is more about reach. Then also what I saw as challenge right now, actually, that's working with media relations, because now when the journalists are going through very tough times, and a lot of journalists were laid off, and AI is like everywhere, so less journalists, and the competition to get their attention is because there were a lot of PR managers, even more products, everyone wants their attention, and they're like, to get this mention, you need to be very persistent, very not even persistent, but very to find the super cool idea, which is really difficult right now.
But you're still working with external PR activities, do you?
We do. Of course, we support. We change the ways how we are dealing with it, but we adapt. We build relationship because at the end, this is where the reputation lies and the trust lies too.
Has AI leveraged anything within these processes? I mean, do you use because for instance, I've heard from some of our friends that they are building health tech products right now, and 95% of creatives are made by AI. And when I hear this kind of things, I'm saying, wow. I've also learned, for instance, like some examples from your community of marketers and communications, that right now it is very important to teach artificial intelligence about what is your product is, so, like how to use it, etc., etc. So when this journalist is Googling by ChatGPT, he knows how to, he knows already the key ideas. So I wonder, like, if you may share if there is something there that's already happened.
Okay, regarding the production, we are on the stage when we are transform the way how we work with production, because of course AI opened nothing to say.
Endless opportunities for everything and anything.
But the thing is that still for delivering the quality result, you need a lot of time. It doesn't happen like you put 3 phrases, and the cool UGC video is here and nothing to change.
You still need professionals.
Of course, you will. And it takes time. And it is better when there are, for example, people who are mostly used to work. This is namely how we are working, that we have the like motion designer, graphic designers who use AI as the supportive tool. And at the same time, we have the AI creators who might not even have the education in design, but who know how to deliver the good quality of video, how to make storytelling, what kind of tools they should use. And these are the separate category of AI creators, and they can work in all together.
And you are mixing them.
Yes. So we are working with different type of creators right now. The second question was about AI search and how to make your company being mentioned. Yeah, that's a huge deal right now, because you also mentioned that you almost do not Google, and now you go to AI. And this is the deal, because like the previous customer behavior was that you Google, you see the most reputable links that contain the answer. You go, you click to this link, and you nurture the quality of website, and then potentially you can be remarketed by marketing team. Because you clicked, so they already have the information about you. And you could come organically like this information, subscribe to the newsletter, and then get, for example,
a lead.
Become the lead and then the customer. The current way how people get the information they need, they go to Google, they get the first paragraph made by Gemini, and basically that might be it. And then they go, ideally, for example, they Google the best language learning platform. They see the companies, and then they go either directly to the website or they download the
app itself. Yeah.
So you might see the uplift in your organic traffic or app downloads. But the challenge is how to make your company actually to be seen in this small paragraph. Or if I go to ChatGPT and I ask how to make ChatGPT to mention your company as an answer to the question. And this is where actually all PR managers and brand managers are clapping because there were a lot of research that proved that ChatGPT and other AI, they took the information from credible sources. So again, you must be visible in media, in trusted media. On Wiki, you should have this article on Wikipedia. They refer to the pages such as Who We Are, some trusted pages like, I don't know if you have the experts who work with
Or
you.
industry media, that's a little bit before wasn't so
exactly.
cool, and now it is cool.
Yes. So the good reviews on Trustpilot, App Store, etc. So this is something when we are coming to reputation, because when you are working purely with the performance marketing, and you might build awareness because, of course, you make your logo seen most of all, but you do not build this reputation and trust. And AI makes us come back a little bit to the roots and think more about how trustful you look, and not just for customer, but for AI to be seen in this list.
Algorithm as well. Yeah, it's like on one hand it seems to be too challenging, on the other it's such an interesting adventure I found. So like it sounds really like something new is coming, and we are dealing all the time with something there and here new. But some of the audience we are having here today is for sure females who are starting their startup or already are leading their startup. And maybe not many of them have a lot of resources to make a brand, but still they do look there. What will be your recommendations, like how to bring awareness, how to bring visibility, knowing these instruments we have right now?
That's a very cool question, because a lot of startups, they can't, like the brand is the long story, right? And you must be consistent. And for the startups, it's usually might be a challenge to be consistent from the very beginning, because the model might change. You might change the core of your product. You might like be here and there and experiment a lot. At some point of time, so there are no magic pill or a scenario that everyone should follow, because every startup has their own story, and it depends on the goals you have. For example, if you know that you need investments, so potentially you might think about your reputation as the founder on the first row. If you already know the product, how it will look, you may start building the brand, but what I mean that you might have the picture of what you are building, what kind of values, what kind of principles, why, what's your big why you are doing this, and that will be the solid ground that will help you not to create a fraud, right? But to build a solid product. Yes, of course, it can change over time because the model didn't land it. But if you have this vision and a clear understanding of the purpose, that's already the first step of building brand. For the startup founders, there is a LinkedIn where you can freely share your thoughts, right? Someone goes to Instagram too, but you can a lot of people are going to media and doing the PR. That's also can be the strategy, especially if you go to the media that are seen by investors, like the most popular TechCrunch that has evolved a little over last year significantly. But this is also the way how you can, for example, attract the attention of investors. Then to go to attract the first audience, you can run performance marketing. You can go to product hunt, right? But ideally, if you already have the vision of the product, brand guidelines, again, vision, mission, principles, and that will be the base for your efforts.
So first, again, understand who you are, then what is your aims, and find the nearest route to this.
Yes, exactly.
Alena, I think I have a feeling, a sense that you're right now in your career moment when it is for you important not just to be a role model within the women in tech industry in general, or let's say tech industry, but also important to inspire women. If we perceive the podcast as your stage, what will be your shout out for, or what will be your message for women in tech?
Okay, let me tell you a little bit a story. I remember when I first came to Web Summit. Web Summit, it's a huge IT conference in Lisbon that attracts 70,000 attendees, maybe from startups to huge corporates. And I first came there in 2019. And that was a kind of just a curiosity. I didn't have any specific plans, and I just wanted to understand what is Web Summit about. And we came with my husband as part of our holiday trip. And I was working through all these booths. I visited, at that time, there were Apple, Google. I saw so many people who were pitching, talking, networking, and I felt myself so much out of this place. I felt so small at that moment. I was like, oh my God, who are all these adult people? What they are doing here? They kind of have some serious stuff. And that was in 2019 already, when I was working for a lot of time for corporate. And then I came back to Lisbon to Web Summit in 2023 with Promova, when we had our first booth, a small one, as part of the startup track, but still we had one day booth. I met a lot of media, I met a lot of people, and I was like, wow, I'm already part of this community. And the thing is that nothing happened with Web Summit. There were the same goal of the people coming there, the same atmosphere, almost like the booth, the companies, everything was the same format. But who changed? That me who was changed. And that was like, wow, oh my God. And what I want to say to every woman who is listening to us, that the best of us and the best the most of power and this everything is inside us. And I want to invite you to keep this curiosity inside you and never stop learning, because every challenge is the possibility to grow and to learn. And when we are open heart, when we consider this something as opportunity, not as challenge, it's way more interesting. As the Web Summit, I met so many beautiful people, but the only who changed, that was me. So thank you so much for having me here. That was a super interesting discussion, and thank you so much for asking such open and interesting, challenging questions.
That was Alena Kozub. This first season was made by Women in Tech project in partnership with Center for Gender Studies at YECHU and funded by European Union. Stay tuned and comment and like and share and subscribe for our YouTube channel. That's how you help us. That's how you help the whole Women in Tech community. Thank you.